Over the years, Captain America has gone from being a patriotic symbol of the 1940s to becoming a complex and deep character in the MCU. In this video, we are going to go over how his suit, his character, and his legacy have evolved from his early appearances to becoming the icon he is today. You won't want to miss how this hero has changed forever.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
Captain America, 1944. Captain America first appeared in live action in 1944 during World War II, but it wasn't in a normal movie. It was in a 15-chapter serial that was shown in theaters every week. The protagonist wasn't Steve Rogers, but Grant Gardner, a district attorney who fought against organized crime. There was no super soldier serum, no war, no Hydra. It was more of a police story than a superhero one. The suit was an attempt to resemble the comic, but with the limitations of the time. He wore a blue jumpsuit with an A on his forehead, but without the helmet wings. Instead of a shield, he used a gun, which was the most practical thing for the story. The budget was low, so everything was quite simple. Despite this, it was the first time we saw Captain America in live action, so it is important in the character's history. Captain America, 1979. In 1979, Marvel tried to bring back Captain America, this time in a television movie, with Reb Brown as Steve Rogers. This version was very different from the original and from the comics. Steve Rogers was no longer a World War II soldier, but a former Marine and artist who traveled around the United States on a motorcycle. After a murder attempt, he receives an experimental serum called Flag, created by his father, which gives him superhuman strength and reflexes. The suit was also completely redesigned for the 70s. He wore a motorcyclist helmet with an A, dark sunglasses, a light blue suit with white and red stripes, and a big star on his chest. The shield was different. It was transparent and mounted on his bike. Captain America 2, 1979. Due to the success of the first movie, in 1979 the sequel was also released, Captain America 2, Death Too Soon, with Reb Brown again as Steve Rogers. This time, the villain was played by Christopher Lee. The story revolved around a serum that accelerated people's aging, something that could be used to blackmail the government. Although the movie tried to be more serious, the suit remained the same as in the first movie, with helmet, dark glasses, and the plastic shield. Even though there was more action and heroic moments, it was still far from what we would later see in big Hollywood movies. Captain America, 1990. To celebrate Captain America's 50th anniversary, they tried to make a more faithful adaptation. It starred Matt Salinger, son of the writer J.D. Salinger. This movie respected the comics more. Steve Rogers was a young man from World War II who receives the super soldier serum, fights against Red Skull, and ends up frozen to wake up years later. The suit tried to resemble the original, blue, with a scale-like texture, red boots and gloves, a big star on the chest, and white wings on the helmet. The shield was the classic one, round and colored red, white, and blue. The problem was the low budget, the limited special effects, and a somewhat forced story. Captain America, the First Avenger, 2011. After several failed attempts, in 2011 we finally got a modern Captain America movie, Captain America, the First Avenger. The movie tells the classic origin of the character. Steve Rogers, a weak and sickly young man, receives the super soldier serum and becomes a strong and agile man. The suit goes through several stages. First, when he is used as a propaganda symbol, he wears a suit very similar to the original, with light fabric and white wings on the helmet. Then, when he enters real combat, Howard Stark makes him a more tactical suit, with leather and a more functional design. He also receives the vibranium shield, which becomes his main weapon. This movie solidified Captain America as a true hero, and Chris Evans made many people identify with him, not just for his strength, but for his courage and principles. The Avengers, 2012. In 2012, The Avengers arrived, the movie that united all the MCU heroes. Here, we see Steve Rogers waking up in the modern world after being frozen for almost 70 years and joining the Avengers to stop Loki's invasion. The suit in this movie is one of the most popular, but also one of the most discussed by fans. Nick Fury gives him a uniform with bright colors and modern materials, like a reinterpretation of the classic suit. Although some found it a bit fantasy-like, this suit marked the return of the Captain and his arrival in the modern world, where he would begin his leadership in the Avengers.
And Hulk. Smash.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier, 2014. This movie is a turning point for Captain America and all of Marvel. The Winter Soldier is more of a suspense and espionage film than a superhero one. Here we see a more mature and distrustful Steve Rogers, questioning organizations and discovering dark secrets, which is infiltrated by Hydra. He also faces a new enemy, The Winter Soldier, who turns out to be his best friend from the past, Bucky Barnes, now turned into a memoryless assassin. The suit in this movie changes a lot. It moves away from the bright colors and becomes a tactical uniform, dark blue with silver details and a white star on the chest. This suit is more realistic, designed for secret missions and combat. It was very well received by the audience for making him look like a modern soldier. The movie shows what it means to be Captain America, not blindly following a flag but defending freedom and justice, even if that means going against the system.
Gives them with you to the end of the line.
Captain America: Civil War, 2016. Civil War is another of the most important Marvel movies and a big change for Captain America. Here he is no longer just a soldier, but a man who questions authority and is willing to break alliances if necessary to do what's right. The story revolves around the Sokovia Accords, a government treaty that wants to control the superheroes. Tony Stark, Iron Man, supports it, but Steve Rogers doesn't, because he fears the government will use the heroes for political purposes. This divides the Avengers into two sides: Iron Man's, who supports the Accords, and Captain America's, who fights for freedom. Steve also reunites with Bucky Barnes, who is being chased for crimes committed while he was controlled by Hydra. Steve protects him, even if it means facing his own teammates. The suit follows the style of the Winter Soldier, but with darker colors and a more worn-out look. The captain is no longer with SHIELD and moves away from the classic hero symbolism. This movie redefines the captain as someone who follows his conscience above any flag. Avengers Infinity War, 2018. In Infinity War, we see a very different Captain America from 2011. Now he is a fugitive, hunted for disobeying the Sokovia Accords. He no longer wears patriotic colors or the traditional shield. He's dirtier, has a beard, and his suit is damaged, reflecting that he's more of a guerrilla fighter than a national symbol. Steve appears in Wakanda, where he receives new technological vibranium shields designed by Black Panther. These shields adapt to his arms, like blades for close combat. Although Steve fights hard, he witnesses the greatest defeat when Thanos wipes out half of all life in the universe. But his response is firm. We lost, but we don't give up. Avengers Endgame, 2019. Endgame is the perfect closure for Steve Rogers. After Thanos' snap, Steve helps the Resistance fight for a destroyed world. When the opportunity to reverse the snap by time traveling arises, Steve doesn't hesitate. In the final battle, one of the most epic moments is when Steve lifts Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, proving that he is worthy. With the shield in one hand and the hammer in the other, he fights Thanos with incredible strength. The suit in this battle combines the classic with the modern. The bright blue returns, the white star, and details that resemble the comics. It's a tribute to everything the character represents. In the end, Steve stays in the past to live with Peggy Carter, and he gives his shield to Sam Wilson, Falcon, passing on the legacy of Captain America.
Avengers! Assemble.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, 2021. After Endgame, Sam Wilson, Falcon, receives Steve Rogers' shield, but at first he doesn't feel ready to take on the role. The government chooses John Walker, a former soldier, as the new Captain America, but his version of the suit and his impulsive behavior show that he's not up to Steve's legacy. Sam, for his part, struggles with the meaning of the shield and what it represents. Eventually, he accepts the legacy and takes up the shield, not just as Steve's replacement, but as a new Captain America with his own approach. His suit, designed by Wakanda, mixes the classic symbol with Falcon style, adding technological vibranium wings and a modern design. In the end, Sam presents himself as the new Captain America, proving that the shield is more than a piece of metal. It's a symbol of justice, equality, and sacrifice. Captain America: A New World, 2025. It marks Sam Wilson's first major challenge as the new Captain America. The story revolves around a conspiracy led by the US president, who transforms into the powerful and dangerous Red Hulk. Without superpowers, Sam must face this threat, relying on his intelligence, tactical skills, and conviction. To rise to the challenge, Sam wears a suit that merges the classic Captain America design with cutting-edge technology. It retains the iconic red, white, and blue colors, along with the legendary vibranium shield. Thanks to the support from Wakanda, his suit also includes retractable vibranium wings, allowing him to fly and maneuver with agility. And so, we have traveled through the incredible evolution of Captain America over the years. From his beginnings to his legacy in the MCU, this character has left an unforgettable mark. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more content about your favorite heroes. See you next time.